The retirement crisis is a lie. It's a lie. If you've planned well and you know what you're doing, there's no crisis. If anything, it's a call to action. Here are 7 ways that you can take care of that if you think you might be struggling a little bit. But there's so much fear-mongering going on out there in the media and everywhere else. Yes, there's bad inflation. Yes, the market hasn't been doing well. But this is more of a call to action instead of a crisis. If you know what you're doing, you'll be fine. Most people say you need over $1 million to retire. No, you don't. I retired on a little over $500,000 over a year and a half ago. I'm doing fine. So here, in case you want to hedge against that a little bit, make yourself feel a little better, here are 7 ways you can do that. Number 1, the new retirement, which I like to call it now, includes part-time work, online work. You could be working at Walmart, anywhere from like 10 to 15, maybe even 20 hours a week. To me, you're still retired. You retired from full-time work. The new retirement nowadays, I think in a lot of cases includes part-time work. Take some part-time work if it'll make you feel better. But there's no crisis. These are things you can act on. If you have your stuff all ready to go, if you have your plan set up, these are things you can act on to make yourself feel a little better, but there's no crisis. Number 2, start saving more ASAP. That always helps, right? I started at 40 saving. I wish I would have started at 20. I would have been a lot better off than I am now. Doesn't mean there's a crisis though. People still retire. You can still retire. Even if you're later in life, just start saving more. You can do that. It's not that hard. Another way to do that is, if you want, move to a cheaper place to live. There are tons of places that are cheaper than probably when you're at now. I moved from Los Angeles, a very expensive place, to a much cheaper rural town. I'm doing fine. I've cut my expenses way down, way down. That's just a way I'm hedging against this whole thing. But it's not a crisis. I'm not worried. I'm just upping the odds. Another way you can do that, tighten your budget, which goes along with moving to a cheaper place to live. First of all, do most of your budget? Do you guys budget? A lot of people don't. More than half the people out there do not budget. Especially if you're getting toward retirement age, you got to budget. You really do. And you know what? One thing when you start budgeting, it'll be much easier to get those expenses down in line with where you want to be. Start budgeting. Get an Excel spreadsheet. Put a bunch of stuff on there. Now, it doesn't have to be, as I've said before, it doesn't have to be even every month that you budget. You can do a top-down budget, which means you kind of give yourself, how did I do last year? How much money did I spend? That's called a top-down budget. Or if you want to give you even more accurate, do a bottom-up budget, which means you're looking and you're writing down every little penny you spend during the month. That's why it's bottom down, from the smallest expenses up to the biggest. I try and do that. Now, you can get as detailed as you want. You can go down to every time you go and get, a big gulp. Don't have to, but you can. Here's another way. Keep your car longer. Now, when I was working, I would get a new car like every 3 years. And my girlfriend hated it because she always holds out her cars for 10, 15 years. I've learned the wisdom in that since I've retired. I had a beautiful BMW X3. But I had a $300 a month car payment. When I started budgeting harder and looked at everything, did I want that car payment anymore? No. Sold it, got something cheaper, paid cash for it. Not as exciting, but it gets me around. It's practical. And it was even a year newer than my BMW was. And now I have no car payment. Another thing I did is I would go to Starbucks every single day when I was working. I cut that out. The only time I go to Starbucks now is when I visit my girlfriend, and I don't even do that every single day. But while I'm up here, I can still go to Starbucks, but I don't. All that stuff adds up over time. Keep a budget and you'll see where your stuff is going. All those subscriptions you may have, online subscriptions, whatever it is, health clubs you don't go to, cut those out. Budgeting equals lowering your expenses for most people. Another way, if you really want to get, more income coming in, you can consider bringing in a roommate. Now, for a lot of you, I know that might not be the best thing to do or the first thing on your list to do. But if you can save some money, especially if you're a single retiree, rent out a room in your house or share half and half with them. Hey, if that makes you feel better, you're still not a crisis, but it's helping you. Anything that can help you feel better about your expenses and about where you are on your retirement journey. That's what you got to do, okay? Any little thing you can do to make yourself feel better about it, start doing, guys. Start doing it now. There are so many things that we can do to improve, let's say, our monthly expenses. Whatever it is, just have a little more money coming in. The new retirement nowadays does not mean you have to sit around and do nothing all day long. There's so many things out there. I recently got a RV about 6 months ago. Unfortunately, with all the rain we had, it sprung a leak in the roof, so I haven't been able to put it on Airbnb yet, but that's my plan. I plan on putting this thing on Airbnb, renting it out. I've got a great view, as you can probably see behind me. I think I can get some decent money on it. Any little thing. It's the best if you have multiple streams of income coming in when you're retired. A little bit here, a little bit there, so when one kind of falls off a little bit, you got something else that's going to be coming in and making up for it. Usually if you have multiple streams of income, they're not going to all go dry at the same time, right? So get creative, guys. There's no retirement crisis. It's just a call to action. It is a call to action for us, the people that, if you're watching this video and if you're watching retirement videos on YouTube, consider yourself better than 85-90% of the people out there planning for retirement. You're getting different ideas from different people. I don't have all the right advice. I could have stuff that I spew out here, even in this video, that you guys are like, yeah, that's a bunch of crap, man. But there are other people on YouTube that have great advice, and some not so great. So again, guys, just investigate everything. Look for alternate streams of income. Look to reduce your costs. It's not that hard. There's no crisis going on here. Don't let the fearmongers make you get all, you'll be fine. Just stick to your guns. As long as you know what's going on with your expenses and you're listening to a bunch of advice, filtering out the bad from the good, you'll be fine. And as always, guys, just remember, we got this.